Hello, friends. This is just a short video in the midst of our Bible study in the Gospel of John to explain the next piece in the Gospel of John, which is usually designated as chapters 7, verse 53 to chapter 8, verse 11, which is the story of the woman caught in adultery and Jesus' reaction to that story. In most of our modern translations of the Bible, this section of scripture is blocked off with brackets, normally with square brackets. And even in some modern translations, it is completely removed from here and placed as an appendix at the end of the chapter. And that is because most scholars today do not believe that 753 to 811 is a part of of the original Gospel of John, and so that's why I'm not going to be discussing it in this study. But I do want to sort of show that the basic reasons for why this portion of Scripture is not considered to be a part of John's original Gospel. And there are four basic reasons. And these, in and of themselves, may not be completely 100% proof in one direction, but all of them taken together lead us to believe that this is not original to the Gospel of John. And the first of these evidences is that this story is entirely absent from all the manuscripts we have before the 5th century. So before the 400s, all the manuscripts that we have of John's Gospel do not contain this story. And that is very late for a story of this length to be missing. And another point which goes with that is that when the story does appear in Scripture, in the manuscripts that we have, it appears in at least 10 different places in the Gospel, including many different parts of John chapter 7. It appears also in John chapter 21 at the end of the book. And in some manuscripts, it even appears in Luke's Gospel, not even in John's Gospel at all. And for a block of text this large to be found in so many different places in Scripture makes us think that it was being added in at a time different from when it was originally written. Now, with that, we also see within the story itself that much of the language is not consistent with other parts of John's Gospel. Now, as I said, in and of itself, that is not proof against it being original, but with everything else, that just adds one more thing to the scale that tells us that this is not a part of John's original Gospel. And then lastly, on a historical note, we see that this story is not dealt with in early church writings up until the 4th century. And in fact, no Greek father comments on it until the 12th century. So that is a very long time. That's over 1,000 years until a Greek father comments on this scripture. The Greek fathers, the New Testament being originally written in Greek, they must have recognized that this story has some question about it. And so that is the reason why it is in brackets in your modern Bible translations. And that is why I will not be discussing it as we go forward. So when we turn again to John's Gospel, we will be turning to John chapter 8, verse 12. Thank you.